Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of nerve, you got to hand it to Katrina Pierson. She has been on air. She is the Trump spokesperson. She has said some of the most factually inaccurate things I think any major spokesperson of a presidential candidate has said in my lifetime. Right? Because you wouldn't get like 3 bites at the apple like she has for like saying that Obama started the Afghanistan war. There was a couple other doozies. And here she is. I guess what she's the case she's trying to make to Shannon Bream, filling in for Megyn Kelly on the Kelly file, is that, in the 80s, we may have had the Cold War and the potential yes, in the 80s, we may have had the Cold War and the prospect of mutual assured destruction. But those were a cakewalk. We're now in an emergency period. Do you remember when the British were invading this country? Well, Katrina Pierson wants to remind you that we're reliving it now, but they're not Brits.
Which is a good thing for our country. And getting back on track, we are at a stage where this is a Paul Revere moment here again in America. Danger is coming. Things are really out of control with immigration. You have people who are paying upwards to $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 to come in legally. It's not fair. It's not fair to those who are doing.
Wait a second. It's a Paul Revere moment. You'll remember Paul Revere. 1 if by sea, 2 if by land, right? Is that what it was? Or vice versa? The British are coming. He rode through the night to tell people the British are coming. In other words, we're being invaded. Grab your weapons. And she is saying we are in that moment because there are people who are paying $10,000 to $15,000 to immigrate to this country. So, in other words, people are paying to immigrate to this country, and that's like being invaded in a way that we need weapons to protect the country. We also know that net immigration from Mexico is at 0. 0. So, go back. Maybe I missed something. Here we go.
Things are really out of control with immigration. You have people who are paying upwards to $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 to come in legally. It's not fair. It's not fair to those who are doing things the right way. But more importantly, it's not just about people coming into the country illegally. This is about the cartel. This is about drugs. This is about ISIS and terrorism. This is not the 1980s anymore. And the President of the United States has to take in consideration the threats that we face today.
Pause it. So, in the 1980s, you'll recall, we had literally hundreds of domestic terrorist events. We had half a dozen people, I think, killed at LaGuardia Airport in a bombing. But the cartels are now coming in.
Yes.
In fact, wait a second.
Well, no, I think she said one cartel.
Oh, just one cartel's coming in?
Just cartel singular. The cartel.
A cartel is coming
Yeah,
in?
the cartel.
The
you guys
cartel.
never heard of the cartel?
Right,
Wait.
the cartel.
Wasn't there also like we had a
Listen to
problem
what-
with cartels in the 80s?
No.
No,
that
there
was
wasn't.
90s, I
Would
guess.
you listen to what Kelly is saying? The cartel, Sam.
Oh, the cartel is coming in. The cartel. I see. And so it's not the 80s anymore.
In the 80s, you had Pablo Escobar and billions of dollars, literally being one of the richest people in the world and creating a civil war in Colombia. But now, you have the cartel. Or as it's called in the Mexican language, the cartel.
El Cartel.
El cartel.
Well, thank you, Katrina Pierson.
Which, actually, Michael, you probably know something about this, but it's the opposite of true because you could have, because Mexico right now is splintering and because of El Chapo, because of that cartel being broken apart, and it's creating more and more problems. Like there are just like 100 cartels, whereas
There's a lot
there
of
was
different-
one cartel
there
basically
there
running
were like
the country.
2 in Colombia. And the other difference, which is really
Not
true-
Colombia,
Yeah,
but
but
Mexico.
she's talking
No, in
about
Mexico
a
it's
specific
hundreds. Yes.
cartel
No,
that
no,
is
no.
coming.
Kelly's totally right. And
I'm
the
just
other
wondering,
terrible
but
thing about
it was more under control it had been more under control. I mean, as far as
in
you
Colombia or Mexico before.
Mexico.
I don't. Well,
Maybe
the thing,
she's talking about the
thing
British
that
cartel.
Oh, the British.
Well, you know what the Mexican cartels have done, which is so like, I mean, it's kind of amazing and tragic though, is that one of the reasons that we got so serious about going after like Escobar is because the violence came here.
Yep.
In Mexico, they keep it there. So you have like these border towns where it's like on the American side, there's like 1 homicide a year or 2 homicides a year or something. Then across the border, it's like, you know, mass murder on a kind of like daily basis. But yeah, she's wrong in every possible way.
Except about the Paul Revere.
And about the cartel, which is a little shocking
El
to know
Cartel.
about, Sam.
Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed. Subscribe to our podcast. Like us on Facebook. And just generally enjoy us.